And hey, this is a mastermind for the next hour. We want you to play in the chat, so don't be shy. And in fact, we want you to warm up your fingers right now. It's a silly question. What special holiday food or treat are you most looking forward to this month? Dwayne, you got any favorites for December? What's your Christmas go-to?
My sister's baked macaroni.
Say that one more time, Dwayne. The music was drowning you out.
My sister's baked macaroni.
Ooh,
Oh
nice.
yeah,
Very specific.
yeah, yeah. She puts her foot in it. She goes hard, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think for a lot of people, it's the weird food from childhood or something, right? Like I don't eat deviled eggs any other time of the year, and they're kind of weird, right? But boy, it's got to go with it. Any other time of year, I just open up, a can of nuts and eat them. I don't have to crack them and do all the hard work. But that's what we do in December. Patsy's got the peppermint bark. Oh, that is good. Apple
Mm.
pie's a classic. Love that. We got some German heritage here. Lebkuchen. Eggnog. I know I have something to throw into my nightly whiskey now. Also kind of a weird thing. Mulled wine. I love it, Robin. Nice to see you. That's so good. If you don't know me, I'm Kevin Cruz. I'm the CEO founder of LeadX, and this is our leadership development, our talent development community of practice. It's an invitation only event so that you can interact with your peers. LeadX is the only vendor here. We stay out of the breakout rooms and we stay out of them, and we try to keep the promotional stuff low. You'll get like one little plug, and that's about it. Dwayne, this, everybody here knows that we don't charge any money for this thing, but it is not free because what we ask is two things. We put all this work into doing this for you once a month. We want you to engage in the chat or even raise your hand if you want to contribute a question or a comment in the meeting. And when we exit at the hour, Zoom's going to pop up just a brief survey. We want to know if this is the best meeting you've had all month and what we can do better in the future. That's our ask of you. And I didn't do the official. You know him already. He's the director of commercial excellence. My brother from another mother. Director of commercial excellence at Terumo, Dwayne Best. Dwayne, where did you go? Did I lose you already? Oh, you're
No,
back on your horizontal.
yeah, I am. So I got off my phone and I was able to log into my laptop. So I'm back now.
Dwayne, if it sounds like I'm moving even faster, I'm more manic than crazy, it's because we have this crazy agenda I'm very excited about. We're going to start with the one question peer poll. So it's the end of the year, people set their budgets. Aren't you curious? Is everyone else getting bigger budgets and you're not? Or maybe, hey, how lucky should you feel? We're going to ask you about your budgets in a quick peer poll. I'm going to give away, for anyone who's interested, an AI prompt. We got an AI prompt of the month. Dwayne, I'm increasingly just letting AI run LeadX. It's doing a better job than I've ever done. We'll talk about that. And then get ready to have your minds blown with our guest spotlight. So, Dwayne, we're going to be talking about measurement of our programs, right? We've talked about that in the past.
Yep.
I've been in the business for 30 years. I've interviewed over 1,000 people for Forbes, the podcast, our books, of course. I've never met a team that's doing measurement evaluation as good as this team. 30 years,
Mm.
1,000 cases. This is singular. So this is very special. Mind's blown. And then we're going to do a hot take. You guys will vote on what we're going to talk about, my crazy LinkedIn rants. And we're going to end with top 5 plays of the month. Dwayne, can we do it all in an hour?
I think we can. You seem like you're jacked up on Mountain Dew, Kevin. So I think we can get through this, baby. Let's go.
Regular old coffee for me, Dwayne, and just energy. I was feeling a little extra nervous. We like to talk about emotional intelligence, and I was getting some butterflies like 15 minutes ago. And I was thinking it's because I've got high expectations for this session and fear that it's going to land flat or my internet's going to go out. And then my go-to, Dwayne, is I say, it's hard to feel nervous if your heart is on service. And so I just like, you know
Hey.
what? It's December. We're going to say hi to our good friends. We're going to offer some value, and whatever happens, happens. So I'm excited for it. All right, let's dive in. We are going to start with our one question peer poll. So Evan's going to put it on the screen. Budget for leadership development. Leadership development in 2026. Is your budget going up? Ooh, that's the wrong one. Evan, we'll get rid of that one.
Sorry, everyone.
We jumped the gun on that one. Is your budget increasing, decreasing, staying the same? Maybe you don't know yet. And I hope I'm proved wrong. I hope I'm proved. My fingers are crossed. Come on, come on. Who got big budgets here? Come on, who's increasing? I don't know. Dwayne, how about you? Are you able to reveal where your budget's going for next year? Up.
It's increasing, my friend. Yeah, it's increasing. I'm just in a unique situation where anytime your CEO has strategic imperatives and it uses your function, you're going to get a little more money in headcount. So it kind of fell that way where our CEO has some strategic imperatives where my function is strategically driving. So getting a couple headcounts and a little bit of money.
And I think I translate that as Dwayne's being a little bit modest because if you want to increase your budget, make sure you are supporting the strategic imperatives of your CEO. That'd be another way to say that. So let's take a look at this. 13% increasing. 23% are having their budget cut. That's 1 out of 4 of you are having your budget decrease. Another fourth, it's staying the same. You don't know yet. Maybe you're not on a calendar fiscal year. And this doesn't shock us, right? So we've been doing a benchmark study for several years now. And I've said over and over, it feels like, especially within leadership development, but probably all of general L&D, I think we're like in a great depression of leadership development. I mean, we've just seen headcounts whacked. We've seen budgets whacked. With AI coming up, profit pressure coming, I think it gets worse, not better. But we're going to share all this stuff out in the notes, but feel free to whip out your phones and take pictures of this or download the thing Evan just put in the chat. Thanks for being on that, Evan, and use this for some justification. All right. The next
Now, hey, Kevin,
yeah,
I do have a question for you. Before we
please.
get to this, I meant to ask you this earlier. Every year, you focus on some new thing that you're going to learn or do. At first, you were rapping, you were doing Japanese haikus. What was the thing that you accomplished this year? This weird thing. What was it?
No, so thank goodness, Dwayne, that you did not call me out in my rap phase. You know, I had some bars you and I were going back and forth with, and I don't want to be embarrassed by calling those out. So the weird thing I'm doing right now, I'm still doing it, but I think I'm going to wrap it up next month or two, is I'm writing a corporate thriller novel. That's what I'm doing in my spare time. Bet you didn't guess that.
No, no, that's interesting.
If anyone wants to be early reviewers, let me know and I'll send you a bad corporate thriller once it's done.
Awesome. Thank you.
The thing, Dwayne, that has been taking up a lot of my time, as people know, is, I've gone down the rabbit hole hard on the AI stuff. And you'll hear, I'll publish more about this in January on LinkedIn. Like, I just replaced I thought I had a good strategy for LeadX for 2026. And then we developed an AI strategy coach, and it decimated me. It was insulting. It said it was more like a wish list than a strategy. And so it made a strategy that we're going to deploy for LeadX for next year. And then after creating the strategy, I need to create my objectives and key results. Now, this is a goal setting system. Not everybody's familiar with OKRs, very popular at Google, Silicon Valley, et cetera. So it's not for everybody, but it's like a goal setting system. And we developed an OKR coach. So now everybody at LeadX has worked with the AI to create their objectives and key result measures for Q1 and for the year. Now, here's the offer and the ask. The offer and the ask is, if anyone wants a copy, it's like a 3-page long prompt that you could plug into Copilot or ChatGPT. If you want to play with it to set your OKRs, email me directly. You'll work with me directly on this, Kevin at LeadX. All I ask in return, we don't just want to send it out the way we do a lot of our stuff. It's just you need to then email me back, like, how was it? Was it a good experience? Do you like what it put out? How could we make it better? So kind of looking like for beta testers of our OKR coach. So shoot me an email if you're interested in that, and happy to send it. We found it pretty rigorous and pretty helpful. Okay, Dwayne, I was already bubbling over with enthusiasm. So I mentioned my mind is blown. So we have 2 special guests who Evan is going to spotlight for us. But first, we're going to remind everyone about the EQ emphasis, that we have on our Forbes series, and of course, as solutions from LeadX. AI is all over the place. We're increasingly talking about it. Last year's benchmark, it showed up as a top 10 priority to train our leaders with. But what was number one on that list? You told us EQ, because of course, in the world of AI, EQ matters more than ever. And we would love to help you develop your colleagues' EQ. Option one, become a LeadX certified EQ coach and facilitator. Join one of our certification programs. It's all based on Dr. Travis Bradberry's brand new assessment, brand new book. His other one's 12 years old, so this is the one that came out in May. Or if you're not interested in yourself or your colleagues getting certified, we, of course, could send a certified facilitator to you to run these programs. So shoot a note to evan@leadx.org or any of us, or fill out a form on our website and we can help you out. And that's the only plug for the day. Okay, now I really am going to our special guests. We have two, not one, but two. Cathy Schaefer, Executive Director of the MD Anderson Leadership Institute, and Dr. Caitlin Cavanaugh, Program Director, Research and Analytics at the MD Anderson Cancer Center. Cathy and Kate, welcome to this crazy monthly program we do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cathy, we met recently because we reached out to you as part of the series we are doing on Forbes, highlighting the great work organizations are doing related to emotional intelligence, relationship skills, etc. And if Evan didn't already drop the Forbes link in there, he will, or we can find that article. But then we stumbled on some gold, which is when, Cathy, I realized, like, oh wow, your team is measuring the impact of your interventions in a way that I've never seen anyone do before. And you're actually publishing that research. But let me pause. For people who aren't familiar with MD Anderson, tell us about the organization.
Thanks for the opportunity. MD Anderson, we are a cancer hospital located in Houston, Texas. We're part of the University of Texas system, and our sole focus is on the research, clinical treatment, and prevention and education around cancer. We have about 20, I think we've just passed 28,000 employees across the organization. About 2,000 of those are faculty members who hold full-time faculty appointments with the UT system, but they are our employees who are MDs, PhDs, or both in the cancer space. At any given time, we also have, in addition to the 28, about 6,000 to 8,000 trainees who are here in some capacity. They could be high school students through postdoc doing some kind of training with us. We are expanding outside the Texas Medical Center into the Houston regional areas and have actually broken ground on a new campus in Austin to partner with our University of Texas flagship campus. So it's an incredible place to work. All of our employees are singularly focused on that mission to make cancer history, and that focus gives us our North Star as we all work together.
Cathy, incredible mission. Thank you for working on that mission. Incredible. Like, I didn't realize until we met just how large the organization was. We talk a lot at LeadX about how do you scale leadership behaviors? How do you scale great culture? And you're obviously working on that and doing that. And so I bet what jumps out to a lot of people is, you're the executive director of the MD Anderson Leadership Institute. So what is the Leadership Institute?
So great question. So MD Anderson, we've always been a learning organization. And since we're an academic medical center, we've had emphasis on education. And for many years, I've actually been with the institution 25 years, and my whole time, and predating me, we've had various educational and leadership programs, many of which have been very successful, but they were fragmented. And they tended to be for a discrete population. And in those discrete conversations, it wasn't uncommon to hear, well, why isn't X also at the table with us? Because, that's the group that really needs to focus on these skills. And over time, we just said we have these disparate impacts across the organization. They're effective, but they're not necessarily building to anything that is scalable and sustainable. And so about 8 years ago, we had new presidential leadership who was really an outspoken vocal advocate of leadership development. And we had talked about let's create a dedicated resource focused on leadership development across the entire enterprise and for every level of the organization. So that's something else that is somewhat unique. Um, we define a leader as every single person in the organization. So it
Love it.
doesn't matter what your formal job title is. We say you are a leader, you can lead. So our individual contributors are part of the leading self team, and it goes up through ascending levels of the organization all the way up through leading the institution. And so we have a common set of core values and of leadership characteristics and competencies that support each of those. And those apply to every single member of the organization. So whether you're in at the bedside as a nurse, you're in a research lab, you're an accountant, you're in one of our grounds crew maintenance areas, every individual is selected to those competencies, evaluated against them as part of their annual evaluation each year, and we offer development to help people across that spectrum. So we talk about whatever your role is, these are the same standard for everyone. How you apply it may look a little bit different, of course, and we give them the tools to do that, but we've been able to achieve that common foundation across the organization.
Cathy, so with doing all of that, supporting so many people, I mean, how big is your team? How many people are full-time in the Leadership Institute?
42, I believe. Kate, hold
Wow.
me honest to that. I know we've got it flows a little bit, and we have a couple of students that are supporting us as well, but 42 full-time employees.
Mm.
So I bet a whole lot of people are jealous right now. Like, oh my God, 42 head count. I actually thought it could have been higher, given all that you're doing. Um, Not the specifics, but what are the biggest buckets that when you think about the what people do on your team? Like how many people are dedicated to evaluation, if you even organize them like that? How many are
Right.
instructional designers?
Um, we organize them somewhat in that way. And I will say, when we first started forming the Leadership Institute, we were very sensitive to people saying, oh, how is, and we fall under the HR umbrella. So how is HR marshaling these resources? But in our initial format, we didn't add any new FTEs. We took people that were in these pockets
Hmm.
from across the organization and brought them under the same roof. Over time, we have been able to enjoy some additional growth because of the success we've had. But initially, we just leveraged the existing talent that we had across the organization and just put them in the same space to be able to focus our efforts together. To your other question about the general categories, we have a team that does develop training. Now, training is also very decentralized throughout MD Anderson in the technical arenas. So, for example, we have a pharmacy education team, and they're
Mm-hmm.
focused on the practice of pharmacy. So we don't play in that space. That's theirs. We do administer the learning management system for the organization. So all of the different groups who create and make training available for various disciplines publish that and track it through our LMS. And so we have ownership of that. We have a team of instructor-led facilitators that also engage in some development work. We have a team focused on change enablement and team science.
Mm.
So they engage in those kind of
Mm.
interventions. Kate leads our team focused on measurement and evaluation. We also have a team focused on assessments and surveys. They
Wow.
work in that space. And what am I leaving out, Kate?
Mentoring and
Oh,
coaching.
yes, yes. We do have very dedicated work streams focused on mentoring across the organization. We have a robust program where we encourage everyone to be a mentor and mentee and wear
Mhm.
both of those hats. And we have an internal coaching engine that we have built in a relationship with Rice University, where we have trained internal coaches to go through an ICF approved education program. And we have about 230 internally trained coaches right now, which gives us additional internal capacity to provide coaching engagements for many of our cohort development programs, as well as anyone in the institution who's interested in engaging with a coach. We built an online engine where they can go in, tell us a little bit about what they're interested in, match with a coach, and then if we feel like coaching is the right engagement for them, then that's available. And that's anyone in the institution at any level.
Love it. And I love that people are adding some questions into the chat. We will get back to some of those questions, and if we don't address them live, Cathy and Kate will type some answers as well later in the program. Cathy, I want to, maybe Cathy and Kate, I want to talk a little bit about that measurement practice, because we know, last year's benchmark, we asked this group of engaged professionals, where are they on Kirkpatrick 1 through 4? And most, over 50%, don't go beyond level 2. And if you dig, like, well, why is that? Like, we all know the value of it. Why is that? And they'll say, well, we're under-resourced, and no one's asking for that data. I'm told what to do. I'm given a budget. Like, nobody cares about the level 4 results. And so we know, and it's heartbreaking to me that in our industry, most people don't go beyond that. You have invested so many resources and time into measurement, and not just for yourself, but to take the time to submit and publish in journals. Why? Like, why? What makes you do that?
Well, I can speak to where it began, and then I'll turn it over to Kate, because she's certainly the genius behind that area being as successful as they are. She's very modest, but she's an incredible asset that we have on our team. I think it starts at the top level with our president. He's a very outspoken advocate for leadership and development. And if we think about ourselves as an academic institution, what we found is when we started trying to engage across the enterprise with many of our physicians who are the best and brightest at what they do, they're highly educated, they're world renowned. They want to see the data, and they want to know that if we're asking them to spend time engaged in a certain activity, how can we prove that it benefits them? So anecdotally, we could speak to it, but we didn't have the kind of data that many of them were looking to see. And then as we started peeling back the layers of that, we just found that there was such a rich opportunity for us to really redefine how we were collecting and analyzing that data. And then we found that there was an appetite for it, not just within our organization, but much wider. So Kate, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Cathy. You really covered that well. I'd say it even goes back to your poll question on budgeting, and just being really thoughtful in different ways that we can try to measure the value, the impact that will help with budgeting. It will help with speaking with internal stakeholders and ensuring that we have the resources in the future that we need to do this kind of work and have these continue this kinds of impact. And there's just I'm sure I don't have to really convince this audience, but there's just so many reasons to invest time and resources into measuring impact, from, helping your program designers refine courses and keep them up to date, to helping your institution show the value in more meaningful ways. And part of that for us, as Cathy mentioned, is also helping other organizations and sharing how we've been able to do this, and what our challenges and successes have been along the way.
Love it. Now, Kate, I thought what would be good, this is a great introduction and overview, and we're already getting good questions from that, but I thought to go deeper, it'd be fun to talk about one paper in particular, the Maximizing Impact, Optimizing Teams Through Leader Development in a Healthcare Setting, because that's sort of a foundational. If we cover that, everyone's going to learn about one of your key program designs, and it's going to be sort of meta, talking about how you measured it and published it. So I want to tell you though, I did something because as we can see, these papers are pretty dense, right? So I'm a simple guy. So I said, I need some help understanding this paper. And so I went to Notebook LM to feed it your paper and to help me to understand it. Now, Cathy, are you familiar with this product, Notebook LM from Google? Kate, are you familiar with it?
I am not.
So people in the chat, type yes or no if you're familiar already in using this. I'm curious if this is new. So we talked about this several months ago. There's a brand new release. And so I want to show people it's really easy. If you go to Notebook LM, all you do is you add your sources. Hopefully you can see, all I did was I uploaded the one paper. You could upload your training manuals, you could upload a book, you could upload your workshop slides, you could upload a video transcript, anything you want, you upload it. Then the system on its own just gives you a little summary. It says, hey, there's a research paper, here's its title, blah, blah, blah. And you could ask questions like a chat GPT of it. I was too lazy, I didn't want to talk to it. So over here is the studio. I tapped a button, one click, and it gave me a 2-voice podcast telling me about that paper. I clicked this button, and 1 minute later, it gave me a 5-minute explainer video. Click this button, I got a mind map. Then I got flashcards. Then I did a quiz, an infographic, and it finished out with a slide deck. Now, I think this raises, separate from what we're here to talk about specifically, sort of like, wow, cool tool. And you'll tell me, is this tool going to be interesting and helpful to anyone? Or does it open up to this AI slop, right? AI training slop. And right now, in about 5 minutes, here was the infographic. The ripple effect, how leader training boosts team performance. 86% of leaders rated the training positively. Here it is. Now, Kate, is that true? Did it make that up or is that true?
That's pretty good. I mean, I'll have to check the numbers, but so far it looks pretty good.
Now, I didn't love this infographic, but I didn't give it any instructions. I didn't ask to revise it. I clicked one button and it made that in less than a minute. Then I said, hey, give me some flashcards. How many leaders participated in the training cohorts and the control group respectively? And the answer, supposedly, there were 166 leaders in the training group, 197 in the control group. Kate, does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got flashcards. Then it was a quiz. It said that your study collected data that was triangulated. A, B, C, or D. What does that mean? And I guessed wrong. 3 different hospitals. The right answer, multiple sources, leaders, direct reports, and supervisors. Is that still sounding good, Kate?
That's true.
Okay. I'm going to skip the podcast. 1-click explainer video. I don't love it. And
you know, organizations pour a ton of money into developing their leaders every single year. And the leaders who went through the program. Afterwards, they reported a real, tangible improvement in their own skills and their confidence. They felt it.
Wow.
And the data totally backs this up. Just look at the numbers here from the study. On a 5-point scale, leaders rated their own skills at about a 4.08 before the program. After, a 4.51. Now, that is not just a little bump. That's a huge measurable leap in their own perceived ability. And what's really crucial here is that this wasn't some random fluke. In research, this little number, the p-value, tells you the odds that a result is just dumb luck.
Kate and I are both chuckling over its explanation of the relevance of p-values. And I'm seeing some people are saying they're going to steal this tool. Now, Kate, I saved the best for last, and you're going to get a chance to come back in here. I've got an idea. I'm hoping you're open for it. It's called slideshow karaoke, Kate. And I am going to present the slides it made of your study. And you've never seen them before. And I'm wondering if you could sort of walk us through the 12 slides it created as a way to explain the program and the study. And then you'll tell us, like, Kevin, that's garbage, that's wrong, this is ridiculous, or you'll just walk us through. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Can we just note for everyone, I did not know this would happen. I have not seen these slides. I was not aware of this exercise.
Be nice to Kate, or she'll
before.
never work with me on one of these presentations again.
So, Kate, and this isn't fair because, you know, this is your first time here. I'm kind of like a magician on the stage, you know, so I don't want people to know what they're walking into, but I could read, you know, the personality a little bit. I'm doing a little cold reading. So here's what we're gonna do. And so yeah, Kate really doesn't know. This could completely derail, and that would be funny, Kate. We would all laugh. But let's see what happens here.
We will laugh at Kevin, not you.
Okay, so Kate, what I have is the PDF of 14 slides. And so we see here the ripple effect, how developing one leader can transform an entire team. These slides were created in less than a minute. So I'm going to start here. We'll let you present this slide briefly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty good. I would probably phrase it as, do we want people to gain things and be different after training? Yes. We want them to have new awareness or new skills or new knowledge. Yes. But it doesn't end there. We want them to go back to their job, change their behaviors. And then, of course, those behaviors will be impacting some other people, and probably mostly that will impact people's team members. So they're the direct reports of these individuals. And so with this study and many of our other training evaluations, we want to know, how are people different? How are they applying what they learned on the job? And who are those different behaviors impacting? But
Hey, Kate, is this an accurate quote, like from your paper, do you think?
yeah, it is.
Okay, so we continue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is our description of the program. Gets it pretty accurate. 9 months long, 50 hours of development, lots of hands-on activities, coaching, mentoring, simulations, assessments.
Okay, let me ask. So 9 months, we typically see for a frontline leader program something 6 months to 12 months. So that's not surprising. 50 hours though over that 9 months seems pretty impressive. So are people coming together like one day a month, or is it virtual, or does I don't know if Cathy, if you want to address that, but like how were those 50 hours spread out?
Yeah, there are once a month facilitator led sections, but there's lots that they're doing in between. There's self-study and reflection. They're getting coaching. They have a mentor. So that's where that 50 hours.
So it's a mix of the group and the individual as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and we did ground the study in the Kirkpatrick model with 4 levels you see here.
Sounds good. We're all familiar with those. Oh, we get some results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so leaders who participate in our program, they self-reported really positive impacts from the program. They found it valuable, they found it relevant. We were able to compare their post responses with their pre-responses. So we had them self-rate their leadership skills, knowledge, behaviors, abilities, and they were higher post-program compared to pre-program.
Kate, sometimes I see when we do self-evaluation on pre and post, let's say they're going to come in and do a grow coaching program or something like that. We see their scores drop. And we think it's because on day one, it's like, yeah, I'm a good coach. I know I'm coaching my people. I'm a great leader. And then when I realize, like, oh wow, I didn't realize there's all this stuff to coaching. 3 months later, or at the end of the workshop, I'm like, you know what? I'm a 4.2 coach, not a 5. Do you see that as well, or not so much?
Yeah, so that's really common in a lot of training research. With longer term programs like this one, that 9 or 10 months, I think gives people the opportunity to get through that curve, that
Yeah.
dip that you're describing, where
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, there's actually a lot I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And then I think they've had enough time at this point to kind of come up on the other side of that curve.
I'm a big fan of self-awareness, and I think I love the way you describe it. It's almost like you do the awareness work and the assessments up front, and the dip happens, and then you like rebuild. Oh, we got your attention now, and you rebuild from that. So 166 leaders, 85.9%. And then, geez, first of all, does this look accurate? Like, did the AI pull this correctly?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to double check, but these numbers look pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing here is these leaders are all department level leaders. A lot of them are really good leaders already. Like they're rating themselves a 4 out of 5 already. And so to see any growth, even though, yes, that is a small increase numbers wise, but for them to have a dedicated experience and get any growth is really significant to us practically.
Yeah, and again, on that point, we brought it up here too. We see the same thing. So when you already kind of have leaders who have been selected because they're great, right? They're already doing well. They're good leaders. But when they're already a 4, there's not a whole lot higher place to go. So this is actually a very large jump when you're already at that high of a level. And again, the fact that there's the rigor of the p-value there is amazing. Level 3.
Yeah, so we also asked leaders the kinds of behaviors, positive leadership behaviors, that they were practicing in their roles right now at the beginning of the program. We asked them again at the end of the program, and we found that they did apply. They used these positive leadership behaviors more often. A lot of these are like servant leadership, coaching behaviors, and they were doing more of them at the end of the program.
Nice transition slide.
Yeah, half the story. That's great. Did they change their behavior? But then did people pick up on it? And did it help the people around them feel better
And
and work better?
and let's face it, like if we measure behavior change, it's already great. Like that's a great win, and you took it a step further.
Yeah. Yeah, so in 2 ways, let's see, is it getting at both of them on this
You want me to
side?
look at the
Slide.
next slide? Can we peek at
Yeah,
the
I
next
think
slide?
so. Just the first one. So we saw what we did is we compared a group of control or comparison leaders who were very similar to the leaders going through our program. Really, the only difference was they have not taken this training program yet. We made sure they were very similar in terms of, tenure and job type roles and gender and ethnicity. The only way that they deferred was they had not yet participated in this program. And we were able to tie some organizational data that we collect anyway, our employee engagement survey.
Ooh, nice.
And there were 2 areas that direct reports of our program participants versus our control group direct reports. They rated teamwork as more positive, those direct reports of participant leaders, as well as how much they believe that their own development is supported.
I love this. Taking to the next level. All right, I'm going to let you off the hook, Kate. I want to just go through these so people see the rest of the slides. Data confirms engaged leaders create better teams, high leader engagement, follower development, as you were just addressing. I found this interesting. I'm going to go back like, oh, what's this IPO model? Kind of cool. And 3 key lessons: invest beyond the workshop, requires long-term comprehensive approach, measure the ripple effect, engagement of the participants is non-negotiable. Now, I'm going to pause there. So, Kate and Cathy, first of all, what's your reaction to this Notebook LM generating the slides? Like, is this cool? You would use this tool maybe, or it's like, it's a little amateurish.
I think it was awesome. What did you think, Cathy?
No, I'm thinking of a lot of different opportunities. Also thinking about some questions about how our IT security will respond, but that's kind of a different discussion. But exciting possibilities.
What I'm finding is like those will be the issues, right? The governance of AI, the use of AI questions. If you're a Microsoft shop, this is a Google product, Notebook LM. I saw someone ask, "Is this free?" Yes, there is a free version. Then, if you want to use it a lot, they'll try to charge you for that. But I want to pull a couple of these things. People are really grateful for you playing around, Kate, with that. Were there controls for previous leadership experience? James from Rivian is asking.
Yeah, we specifically looked at tenure. We didn't control for number of years as a leader, but we certainly could look at that and see if there were any differences.
Did you, and then Carrie's asking, were these surveys conducted at the end of the program or were the measurement efforts X months after the program? Like, was there sustained behavior change?
Yeah, so some of the measurement, like the self-report and the supervisor report, happened pretty immediately after the program. When we were measuring things on the direct report side, so teamwork and support for development, those came, depending on the year, about 6 months after. So we were seeing at least a 6 month gap there in terms of the benefits to direct reports.
Love it. So, Kate and Kathy, because of time, we could definitely use all the time on this. We're getting ready to move on. But here's the thing. I think everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, like, look at this measurement. You really can measure impact. This is the right way to do it, not just behavior change. Let's look at the ripple effect. And I don't have 43 head count. I'm not MD Anderson. What's your advice to someone who's got maybe more limited resources? Is it hard? Is there a creative way to get at this?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kevin, and I certainly do, recognize that there are resource needs to this. I think honestly, the most important part is really that upfront needs analysis behind training. It's the tie to strategic and organizational goals, and are your programs in alignment with that? And then once you have that figured out, how is this program helping us to get to those goals? Then that's where you can get creative of like, okay, well, how do we measure that? How do we measure the impact on individuals and on teams and on the organization? And that's where, every system is different and every set of org data is different. But I think there's really a lot that can be done on existing data, on any structures or systems that have already been set up. At that point, it's really about the creativity of like, okay, how do we best measure each of these aspects that we really care about and we think that this program could help us impact?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think a lot of the hard work is making that commitment, gathering that data. If I was in a mid-sized company that didn't have evaluation talent in-house, like you have a partnership with Rice University for other things, I would reach out to like a local college or university and be like, hey, are there grad students that want to make a couple of bucks or work on a thesis or something? There's got to be some ways to get some help, even if it's not in-house.
Yeah, absolutely. And even we have a dedicated research team, and we still have a number of academic partnerships with faculty and students at other institutions. I mean, these people are just hungry for data. You have such a valuable resource if you have organizational data, and if the challenge or the problem is getting that data analyzed, there are people who would love that experience. And so yeah, definitely would recommend reaching out to any connections that you have at academic institutions or otherwise, just folks who know what to do with data and or are interested in helping you with that.
Love it. Kathy, congratulations on the program and all the work that you guys are doing. Kate, thanks for playing along with my slideshow karaoke. I thought it went really well. We're going to move on to the next segment, but we hope you'll stick around to answer questions in the chat and to just play with the next segment. Dwayne, what'd you think of that? Pretty mind-blowing, huh?
To say the least, the amount of, to your point, that rigor and data that supports so many things that they're doing is just, it's pretty amazing. One, I'm impressed by the size of the organization that she runs, but two, how they're truly slotted to have meat to do something meaningful. It's not like they're just head counts to have them. They're really doing meaningful work. And then last but not least, I'll just say a special shout out to you, Kate, for going through those slides like a champ with Kevin.
We could have a whole forum on slideshow karaoke with AI generated slides, maybe. All right, we want to sneak in. This is our newish segment, which is called Hot Take. And this is where I look back in the previous month and said, all right, what are a couple LinkedIn posts that got a lot of attention? I like to spark a conversation. And you guys are going to vote. Which one of these are we going to talk about for 5 minutes? Now, this one, Hot Take, your employees aren't too busy for learning. You're just bad at marketing. I'm so rude. Now that was a couple months ago, but that lost the vote last time, and a bunch of people said, "Oh, this is a really important topic. We want to bring it back." So we brought it back. However, it's up against the all-time biggest post I've ever had. It just crossed 107,000 impressions, and it's my post that says AI will end human management in 1,000 days. So which do we want to talk about? Evan, pop up a poll. Let's take a vote, and we'll see. And people better play along with this one. All right, you're bad at marketing. Oh, snap. And there's only 1,000 days left. A little closer than I would have thought. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, people don't mind. Okay. Now everyone's going to have to vote because this is like down to the wire. Dwayne, which one are you voting for?
I already voted. I voted for the "you're just bad at marketing."
Do we literally have a it was like a 50-50 right there. Okay, I think we're doing "you're bad at marketing." Everyone is totally cool that management's ending in 1,000 days. Let's go with "you're bad at marketing." Now, I'll give the basic premise here, and then please feel free to put up your digital hand, and Evan can take you off mute, or you could light it up in the chat. So Dwayne, this was a post that I did a couple months ago, and look, it's not our fault, right? So we get masters in instructional design or PhD IO psychology, whatever it is. And so we become great at all the instructional design stuff, all the frameworks, Addy, we're talking about Kirkpatrick. We're doing all this stuff to create impactful behavior changing training. And then 90% of people don't use our LinkedIn licenses. We struggle to fill our classrooms. If people are forced into our live training and it's virtual, they're multitasking, the camera's off, and they're answering emails. And my point is that, it's easy to say, oh, everybody's too busy, or those people are rude, they don't care about their growth. We got to point the fingers back at ourselves. It's like, okay, we need to become sales and marketing experts in addition to learning experts. We need to know how to capture attention, how to give value propositions, how to psychologically manipulate with things like scarcity, like Mad Men, to get people to join our programs. So what do people think? Am I wrong? Is that just not our job and that's someone else's job? Or do we maybe all need to dust off, go back and get a master's in marketing or something? Dwayne, you kick us off. People can raise their hand or put a comment on. Alyssa's agreeing.
Yeah, this is definitely our job. And in sales, we say, price is only an issue if you're not giving true value. And this is the exact same thing here.
Wait, say that again, Dwayne. I want to hear that again.
Cost is only an issue if you are not articulating the appropriate amount of value, right? So, or paying. So this is the exact same thing here. We get excited to do certain things, but we have to be expert marketers and show them not just the feature and the benefit, but the true value proposition that the person receives. And sometimes you just have to get in the trenches with the people. And normally when I think about the most impactful things or initiatives, even that we've heard about over the couple of years in these forums, two things are common. One, there's top-down adoption, and then two, some individual, a couple people had intimate experience and help speak about it as gospel, and it was a true pain point. Like those two things are normally in common. So for me, I think we have to be expert marketers in addition to just because we are peddling something right now.
We are. I mean, and sales, I think for a lot of people, it's got a negative connotation for many people. And so I think they could be resistant to that. Yeah, good marketing is good storytelling. We tell the story well. Robin from Gore, we need help. Please help us. Spot on. Dwayne, for many people on this call who are leading commercial training organizations, we have a lot of life science trainers here. They maybe have been trained as sales representatives themselves. They've been trained in how to deliver marketing messages, maybe for a product. So having a marketing hat on, having a sales hat on as you now sell your training offerings might be natural. Any advice for those who don't have a background at all in sales and marketing? Where do they begin? Like, do they go buy a book on it? Do they go take a course? Like, what would you tell them to do?
I just had this conversation with a group of clinicals, actually. It's interesting you say that. People always say, "Oh, I'm not a salesperson." We're all salespeople, right? We're all buyers of something. And that's what I would say. At the end of the day, you have to think of it as put yourself in that person's, in that person's shoes. You're a buyer on a daily basis, and you're a seller on a daily basis. You're either selling your husband, your wife, your kids. When it comes time for a raise, you definitely sell on why you need a raise. So we're all selling. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. Take a very humanistic approach to it. You don't have to over engineer it. You have to say what's important to this individual. That's why the whole concept of consultative selling, meet the person where they are and ask yourself, how am I really helping move things out of their way and meet them where they are? If you really seek to understand that, that's really the pure essence of selling. Honestly, it's meeting people where they are and making things easier. So for all the people who say they're not salespeople, you do it on a daily basis, meet people where they are, keep it human, and then you have greater success for sure.
Now, Dwayne, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Like I probably spend 10%. Now, I'm not officially in sales and marketing. I spend probably
Mhm.
10% of my time studying sales and marketing. So I follow people on LinkedIn that I think are
Mhm.
doing it well. I read
Mhm.
books, I subscribe to newsletters, etc. Like so, I'll type one. Like one of my favorite books, I would. I'm going to need help here. It's Cialdini's book. Is it called Influence or Influence and Persuasion? Um, Maybe we could drop a link. But do you have a favorite book or sales methodology, challenger method, or anything that you'd
Mhm.
recommend people check out?
Yeah, if we're going that route, I know a lot of people enjoyed Challenger over the years. It's slightly outdated in
Yeah.
2025, and they've actually come back and they've shared that they have a slightly different approach to it now. They talk about like calling people on the carpet, but now there's a concept of positive tension that they're running with now. So I am a fan of their newer selling methodology, the Alter Challenger. But Spin is also a good one. People have done that before. Spin. Honestly, my take on it is the sales methodology. The best one is the one you'll actually do. It's the
Mm.
process you'll follow. It's just like with coaching. They're like, Dwayne, what's the best coaching model? Is it this? Is it that? Is it grow? It's the one you'll actually do. So if there's whatever tickles your fancy, follow the process and make it human, and you'll find success.
I love it. I love it. Last point on this, and then we'll move on. I like it. Kate just added, it's like, hey, if you do those studies, if you have data that proves the value, use that. Like, the studies sell. This is a great marketing. This stuff works. All right, we have just over 5 minutes left, and we are going to jump into the top five plays of the month, which is, of course, a play on the ESPN Sports Center stuff. And these are just things that caught my eye, that are maybe loosely related to what we do, but some fun things. And we'll see what folks think. So I saw this. Did you see that you can now set goals like Shohei Ohtani, who is the Dodgers baseball player, all-time best baseball player in the history of the planet? So back when he was in high school, we have the SMART goals method, the OKRs. The Harada method is where you put your goal in the middle and you've got your supporting goals around it, and then you plot out what you need to do to achieve your supporting goals. It's kind of like a bingo card for
Mm-hmm.
goals and sub goals. I thought this was really cool. And so now there's a new website called goalpillars.com. You type your goal in, like I put publish my techno thriller novel, as a matter of fact, and it automatically built out my goal call, all the things I need to learn and master in order to make that dream a reality. And for those of you who are new, this is your first top five. I like to preface it by saying, here's all the things that you can, bore your friends and family at the dinner table, at the holiday parties this year, or just make your boss sound really, your boss will think you're really smart if you just drop these into conversation. Have you heard about the meaning matrix? So this, I've got a one daughter in particular who's in between jobs and thinking about purpose and life choices. And I sent this to her. So Ben James wrote this post, and I thought it was an interesting idea. He said, when you're thinking about meaning, a life of meaning and purpose, think about it along two dimensions. Are you consuming or are you creating? And are you alone or are you together? So the bad
Hmm.
stuff, bad might be a strong word. It's doom scrolling. I'm watching Netflix alone. I'm on Instagram alone. Opposite, where meaning is found, is I am creating with other people, starting a band, building a camp, doing a startup company, whatever it might be, building out a training function. So I just thought this was a helpful thing as we think about increasing meaning in our life. And feel free to, we're going to send all of this, but if you want to snap pictures along the way, that is always cool. We talked about the home robot that creeped everybody out last month. There's a new one. This one's only $15,000. It's called Memo. And it looks like this, which is a little less creepy than the other one. Instead of having feet, it has a base and it raises up and down. The other one had humans looking through its eyes to learn. Most of you guys didn't like it. Dwayne and I, we were down with it. This one's completely automated and it works right now. The breakthrough was that they created the robot hand with sensors and found a way to put a human hand in it. So as the human went around loading the dishwasher, making coffee, etc., it just read the signals through the robot hand
Oh.
and applied it right back to the robot. So it's this breakthrough and it's working amazingly well. People are loving it. Dwayne, you and I are ready to buy one of these, right?
Yeah, I think I'll take one of these as well.
This one looks friendly. I thought it was a good breakthrough. They give it a nice orange hat. I see Katie
Yeah.
nodding a little bit. Maybe Katie thinks it's a little bit, easier to have in. Tell me in the comments if this is a robot, since there's no human in it, looking out. Would you bring this robot into your house, or is it still too creepy? I think people have a fear of robots. I don't know.
I'm a fan, Kevin.
Okay, I'm hoping less. I'll do almost anything for less housework. Dave, nope, no thanks. Easy nope. Okay, I don't know. We're losing people. I can tell. No robots. Did you see there was another AI breakthrough on humanity's last exam talking about end of days? So big news was Gemini 3 just launched. And humanity's last exam, if you forgot, it's this crazy exam where they gather in 230 different fields from literature, philosophy, hard sciences, the biggest minds, the PhDs, and said, give us the hardest questions that would stump the PhDs in your field, the hardest of the hard. And now every new AI model takes the test. And we're now at a new high. It scored, a Gemini 3 scored 41%. Now you could say, well, that's still a failing score, right? I think I would score like 1% if I'm lucky on that on that exam. More relevant than this yet another breakthrough is 1 year ago, it was all the AI, the best AIs were scoring down here, and we're now up here 1 year later. So we've gone from below 10% to 40% in 1 year. Now, even if the advancement slows down, so if it doesn't, it means a year from now, we're 80% away to having AI be smarter than every smart human on the planet. 100%, they're saying like, okay, you're basically sentient, super intelligent, kind of thing. Even if it slows down, it might take 2 years, might take 3 years, might take 4 years. That's where the 1,000 days come from. We're about 6 cycle releases from solving humanity's last exam, and then things get really, really freaky. This hot off the press, don't know if you heard today. Did you hear who Time Magazine named as Person of the Year? This just came out hours ago. Person of the Year, the architects of AI. And then they've got all of these people from Jensen, from NVIDIA, Elon Musk, Dario from Anthropic, et cetera, have been named as the Person of the Year. Clearly an AI theme continues. What do you think, Dwayne? We didn't make Time Magazine Person of the Year again. Maybe next year.
Well, I saw them calling, but I decided not to pick up,
You erased that message. Dwayne, this is the end of the year. This is December. This is our last meeting of the year. We're going into the holiday season. Send us out with a great message.
Yeah, so as we roll back these past couple weeks, I'd say a couple things. We've all come a long way, and I think it's important for us to finish with clarity and then start again with intent. So take time to celebrate the progress that you've made this year, not perfection, but the progress that you've made, and clarify what's really most important to you. And once you do that, it'll definitely set you up for more intentionality in 2026.
Dwayne, thank you for that awesome message. I'll take that any day. I love that. Progress over perfection. Time's our most valuable asset. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for joining us throughout the year. Don't forget to click quick answers on that survey. Cathy and Kate, huge thanks for joining us today. Hope to see you back on future ones. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Evan. Thanks,
All right,
Dwayne.
take care. See ya.
Bye-bye now.